Now, on the line, I have a regular caller to the show who's called in especially to talk to me. It's John. John from Basingstoke. Are you there, John?
Yes, hello, John. John Ashe with an E from Basingstoke. Happy to call in, but no, I didn't like that last song, I have to say. Well, I don't have to say, but I'm going to say, and I've said it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, John. Never mind. I hope that doesn't spoil our conversation.
No, that won't spoil our conversation because it's in the past, and this is the present. So the present and the future will be better than the past.
Right. That's good. So what have you been up to today, John?
Well, do you really want to know what I've been up to today? Because I don't want to talk about today. I want to talk about the recent past. But I can tell you, I've just been setting the fire, which is going quite well.
Right.
But I didn't have any twigs.
Oh.
I didn't want to go outside to get them because it's raining. Well, it's raining like a jungle out there.
Raining
so
like
I didn't want to go out there.
Okay. Sorry,
like a monsoon, monsoon sort of
yes, okay,
territory.
Gotcha. Yep. Rain.
So I didn't want to go out, but I had the big logs and the medium logs, but I didn't have the kindling. So I decided to use cardboard. Now, you shouldn't really use cardboard. It's not very efficient. It burns very quickly, but doesn't light the rest very well. So you have to keep on sticking cardboard in, and then you end up with a lot of ash.
Yes.
However, it worked quite well this time. I'm very pleased to say, so I don't have to go out in the rain, and I'm looking at a very nice wood-burning stove with flames inside. So that's what I've been doing today. Right. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Although I have talked about it, haven't I? So maybe that's the end of the call. But that would be very boring because I want to talk about something else.
Well, you see, I thought
days ago didn't involve flames.
Because I thought you would quite like having lots of ash, as that is that's your surname.
Do you know, you're not the first person to quip along those lines in my 63 years.
Right.
You'll not be the last. But let's leave it there.
Okay. So what were you ringing in today about, John?
Oh, what I was ringing in about, and still am in a sense, well, actually in every sense, what I am ringing in about today is something that didn't happen today, it happened a few days ago, which was a visit to the zoo with my grandson and his friends.
Ah, okay. That's nice. What, now, Basingstoke Zoo?
No, we made our way up country,
all right,
to a place called Chester. Have you heard of Chester?
I have heard of Chester.
It has a zoo. Have you heard of Chester Zoo?
I have heard of Chester Zoo, yes.
Well, that's where we went. It was a long journey. I'd like to say it was worth it, but I can't because it wasn't.
Oh dear. Why is that, John? Careful now. Chester Zoo people might be listening in.
Well, maybe they are, and maybe my experience was anomalous. It could be. But every time I visited the zoo, a zoo, not that particular zoo, has been the same. Oh. And that is a dearth of animaux. Be French for a moment there unnecessarily.
Sorry, a dearth.
A dearth of animaux.
Yep.
And also a sort of static quality to that which was claimed to be animaux.
Oh right. So you did see some animals. Let's translate for our listeners there, but they were rather on the static side, you say.
There were, ostensibly, there were some animals. Those which we saw were not just on the static side, they were very static.
Right.
And which hasn't disabused me of the suspicion that I've had for many years that perhaps all zoos don't really have any animals, that they either just say, well, we're going to get some soon, or they have stuffed ones or pretend ones, which never move and are always sleeping. I find it very suspicious. You go and you look at a particular pen, and there's nothing there, and there's a sign saying, watch this space. Such and such snake or whatever will be delivered soon. I thought, well, not going to be so soon that we're going to enjoy it today, is it? Of course, it isn't. And then you go to another pen, and then there's some sort of bear-like thing or monkey-like thing in the distance.
Right.
And it doesn't move. And of course, its face is not facing you, is it? It's just this sort of lump of fur. And you think, taxonomy here?
Oh, dear.
Not taxonomy. No, I mean, taxidermy. Taxidermy here, perhaps? Is this what's happened? Or is it something of a more, hydrocarbon product? Furry hydrocarbon product.
What do you mean?
Well, some sort of nylon affair, nylon threads sticking out from a cushion.
So you think there are staff employed
purporting to be an animal?
You think there are staff pulling on these strings to make the animals move? Is this what you're saying, John?
Well, I'm not. They don't move.
Right. No.
Well, that would be an improvement. I mean, if you could pay some staff actually to, well, sort of create a more lifelike illusion, at least that will be a little bit more worth experiencing if it actually wobbled or something in the distance.
John, have you ever been to London Zoo? Because I went to London Zoo some time ago now, admittedly, but when they had elephants there, massive great elephants walking around, and they had hippos, I think they had some rhinos, and they were all sort of moving around very close to me. I mean, they couldn't really fake that, could they, John? Elephants.
Well, I've only got your word to go. Oh, well, I do trust you, Mark, I must admit, but I've not experienced it with my own eyes.
Right. So
I've been to a number of zoos in my life, small zoos, I have to say. Not as big as London Zoo or Chester. Well, except was the last time I did go there, which of course it was as big as that because that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Well, the zoo I saw, I didn't see any animals.
Yeah.
Although I did see a few fish. I will admit to that.
Right. And they were moving.
No, they weren't actually. No, they weren't moving.
Oh.
They were supposedly sleeping.
Sleeping fish.
All
right. You didn't try and feed them then?
No, it said don't feed the animals everywhere. It said that, which again is suspicious because you never feed them. You can't expect them to be very lively, can you?
I mean, presumably the zookeepers feed them, John.
Well, they didn't. Well, they didn't say. But there are all these signs around saying don't feed the animals.
Right.
Well, perhaps they're influenced by their own propaganda.
So you're saying to me, John, that in your 63 years you've never been to a zoo and you've never seen a moving animal in a zoo. Is that right?
That's right. I can say that with a hand on my heart.
Goodness.
I've never seen a moving animal. And I can't, for sure, say that I've ever seen a real live animal at a zoo. I've seen things that are claimed to be animals at zoos.
Goodness. It makes
It's very disturbing, very disturbing. And in fact, I have to say that this experience, again, as with previous experience of visiting so-called zoos, corroborates my suspicion with regard to islands having no birds on them. Because there was a lake, and there was a little island on the lake, and absolutely no birds on that.
Right.
No birds anywhere, but of course no birds on the island.
Yeah. So can I ask you, John, how much did it cost you to go into the zoo?
An arm and a leg.
So you still did that even though in all your lifetime you've never been to a zoo with an animal? I would have thought by now you would have probably said, well, that's enough with zoos. I'll do something else.
Well, it was familial pressure, let's put it that way.
Right, okay.
So, yes, I mean, to people who don't think very clearly about these things, my testimony is considered to be implausible. I'm sure some of your listeners who are not of an enlightened mindset might also consider my testimony to be implausible. But, of course, as I've said so many times on your program, you know, if you have a testimony of one, which is yourself, and you know yourself to be right, it doesn't matter how many people contradict you, you still know yourself to be right. And that's a philosophical principle that I hold dear to.
Right. Did you buy any nice souvenirs at the zoo, John? Did you come away with something to remember the visit, even though the visit itself was a bit of a disappointment?
A bit, yeah. I didn't personally, but we did buy some pencils and animal rubbers for my grandson and his friends. Animal rubbers,
okay.
Animal rubbers. What was sort of animal head rubbers?
Oh, okay.
And animal pencils, you know, that you with unshaven, sharpened ends to them. To be safe to start with.
Did they have any sort of cuddly toys in there of the animals?
Oh yes, a vast number, looking identical to those things in the pens, I have to say. Or for about extortionate $19.99, or well, that's an exaggeration. Maybe $14.99
right.
Still.
I mean, presumably they didn't have life-size animals, stuffed animals, did they? I mean, if they had were they supposed to have tigers or lions in the zoo?
They were supposed to, yes. Yeah. We did see something that looked vaguely like the back of a lion.
Right.
Again, it didn't move. That was not in the souvenir shop.
Everything
in the. I have to say, no. If I'm going to be honest, everything in the souvenir shop was not plausibly a real animal.
Right.
Yeah, you couldn't have passed those off or attempted to pass those off. They were cuddly toys,
okay.
and much smaller, overpriced, I would say.
Yeah.
But you've got to buy something for the little ones, haven't you?
Well, exactly.
So we bought pencils and animal head rubbers.
Yes, the pencils with the ends cut off. Well, not cut off. I mean, they were never there to begin with, were they? I suppose.
No, not yet cut off. No, the flat ends. Yes, both ends flat. So it doesn't really look like a pencil.
No.
Those.
Did you hear any animals? Because I've been to London Zoo again. Sorry to go back to this. I went there in the evening actually once. Well, they had London Zoo was open at night. It was winter, so it would have been sort of around this time. And I certainly heard the lions in their enclosure. Very scary sound. Did you hear any animals at all, even if you didn't see any?
Well, yes, but I know for a fact that was a recording.
They
have a section. They have a building which is called Shark Building or something, and you go in there.
Yeah.
You don't see any sharks at all. Not real sharks. You see projections of people talking about sharks. And of course, you then hear various things to do with sharks and shark noises and splashes and all. You don't see any. And my grandson said to me, "Well, this is a bit of a disappointment. I wanted to see some real sharks." Well, there aren't any real sharks. And I thought that was a bit of a giveaway. If that tells you something about the philosophy of the place, then I think, that's their approach to all of this.
Right. But
projections,
you're not, okay.
Stuffed, fake.
But you're not singling out Chester Zoo, just to make that clear.
No, well, I'm not. I'm only singling it out because that was my recent experience. But I've had experiences like it before in smaller zoos.
Right.
No evidence of real animals.
Which other zoos have you been to out of interest?
Well, I can't remember them all.
Right.
Small places.
Okay.
Range over Sands. Longleat. Well, it's not a zoo, is it? That's more of a safari park.
Oh, so you went
supposed to be lions there. Didn't see a thing.
What? So you went to Longleat Safari Park? That's famous for. I don't think it exists anymore, is it? I think it's.
It was a long time ago.
I know. So you went there, and famous for all those monkeys jumping on the car and ripping off, your windscreen wipers and all that. You saw nothing.
Saw nothing. Same with Knowsley Safari Park.
Right.
Went all the way up country to there, to Knowsley near Liverpool. Not a single animal anywhere.
Gosh. So
and again, this reminded me, about taking the car and having the monkeys jump on the top, and we were warned about this and all that sort of thing. Watch out for your wiper blades and take the aerial off the top. And just nothing there. It's incredible. So you just except some dubious lumps in the distance.
So you're literally driving around a field, an empty field.
Yes, literally nothing at all.
And probably paid an arm and a leg for that as well. Yeah. Not
quite such a long arm or long leg, but certainly legs and arms were involved in that transaction.
It's funny because I remember watching there's a horror film, I don't know if you've heard of it, called The Omen. It came out in about 1976 or something, and it's about this boy who's supposedly, the son of Satan or something. And animals are scared of him, so they filmed a scene in Longleat, actually, I'm pretty sure. Or it might have been Windsor Safari Park. Windsor, I think. And there's loads of monkeys there all jumping on the car and gibbering and foaming at the mouth and stuff. But that presumably was all faked.
I know the film. That's the one with Kirk Douglas, isn't it?
Burt Lancaster, I think.
Burt Lancaster? No, I think we're both wrong. It's Gregory Peck.
Oh, right. You're right. As I said it, I thought, it's not Burt Lancaster, is it?
No, and then who played the father? I'm trying to think.
Doctor Who.
Was that Charlton Heston?
No.
Charlton Heston.
Oh, I thought you meant the priest. The priest was an old Doctor Who, wasn't he? Patrick Troughton. The priest.
Patrick Troughton. Yes, he was a Doctor Who, you're right.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, was it The Omen? I think it was The Omen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I don't know who the priest was in that.
Okay.
No.
So going back to the...
No, I have seen that film, yes. Yeah, I don't remember anything about monkeys or anything like that.
Okay. Well. Yeah. All right. Well,
I remember the two little girls in the cupboard. That will always stick in my mind.
I think you might be thinking of something else there, John. Are you thinking of The Shining?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Right.
The Omen certainly does ring a bell.
Okay.
Well, when I saw those two girls, I was shocked.
Right. Well, look, John.
The strange thing about something completely ordinary being in the wrong place.
Yes.
That's the thing that preyed upon my mind.
Yes. So it's a bit like zoos, I suppose. Something completely not existing in the zoo is just as disturbing in a way, isn't it? Really, you go there expecting animals, and there's nothing. I mean,
it was the first time many years ago, but I've got used to it now, so it doesn't exactly surprise me. So in some ways, it's quite comforting.
Okay.
I mean, I object to paying the money, but it's sort of comforting to think, oh, here we go again. Yes, that's what I expected, and
So I guess if you actually,
So there's something of a softness to life when things happen as expected,
Oh well. In some sense, I hope you don't go back to a zoo again, or perhaps you'll be forced to go back at some point by your family, will you?
Probably, because the whole thing, in one sense, is a disappointment. Because being a man of science, I like biological things not as much as I like physical things. I have told you I had a scientific background.
Yes, John. I think you have.
Yes, as a quantity surveyor.
Yeah,
so you'd think that an actual biological experience would be. I've had other biological experiences, but I'm talking about a zoological experience here, not a zoonautical experience, because that would be perhaps dangerous. So I don't want to pick anything up, but a zoological experience. But it's always like a pincushion, basically, just a cushion. Exactly the same as the cushion I see on my sofa here. I don't have to pay for that. I can look at that all day long. Doesn't move, just the same. Doesn't make any noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, fascinating as ever to talk to you, John.
Thank you.
Do you have a song for us to play, put on our virtual turntable?
Yes, so something that I used to dance to as a young man, although, of course, it was produced, both in terms of composed and recordings made of it, a long time before I was a young man, by a man called Leslie Saroni, or Leslie Saroni, or I don't quite know how you pronounce it, but a performer, dramatist, all sorts of things he used to do, but he used to do some singing and some slightly humorous songs, and one is about a sow. And it has a line in about Susanna is a funnerful man, and I think that's it's amusing, but I always feel it's sort of improving as well. Okay. Not that it improves over time, but it improves one's character, I think, to listen to it.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah.
Would you like to give it? Sorry.
Could we have that?
Yes, absolutely. Right? I think we're getting it ready right now. Would you like to give a shout out to somebody whose life could be improved by listening to this?
Yes, I'd like to give a shout out, please, to Maud, because I happen to know that one of her favourite songs is 47 Ginger-Headed Sailors. And I'd like to have that one week, but not this week, for sure.
All right. Okay. All right, we'll play this for you then. We'll get this on the turntable now. The Old Sow by Leslie Saroni. I have to ask you sometime about farms, John, your view about animals and farms. We'll leave that for another conversation. Well, lovely to speak to you, and hopefully we'll speak to you next week.
Yes, indeed. Thank you again for listening to me, Mark. I have to get back to my fire now. It's going down. But yes, it's been great to speak to you. Great show, as usual. Well, as always, in fact. So good to speak to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, John, and speak to you next time. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
There was Darren's Valley's radio station.